Good morning, good morning. We're working on our seed tree this morning. I've already had a couple meetings, things going on. We've been working on the computer. Still requesting more seed into the seed warehouse as we get orders confirmed and trying to get that all brought in. Had an insurance agent meeting this morning. So anyway, working on our seed treater here today. I got my graphite spray stuff on. We're going to coat the inside of this atomizer with that. This may be a terrible idea. It may work really well. I don't know, but we're going to try it and see what happens. And then we got to finish putting our hoses on. I got to measure that squeeze pump hose, the peristaltic stuff. We'll talk about it in a minute. But anyway, good morning. Well, it looks better. Okay, hoses. I need to go and figure out how long those hoses are supposed to be. Let me show you this stuff. So, yeah, over here I got a box of it. That is what is in this box. It's this hose, and it just looks like a rubber hose, but apparently it's something special. This Master Flex, it's a 35. I don't know, but I'll show you how it works in a minute. I need to figure out how long of a piece I need to cut. I ordered 10 feet of this stuff, which is way more than I need. That should be like 3 years worth. Here's our parts breakdown. Number 3, that's the hose that we're looking for. So we scroll down to the parts. Item number 3, it's a 3.75 neoprene bulk hose, LS35.13 ID. Quantity it says is 8. I thought that would give me a foot of length. 8 is not it. I don't know what 8 means, but that was not helpful. Okay. Let's see what other digging I can do. All right, I made a phone call to the USC treater people, and they say that those hoses should be 20 inches, or at least that's the pre-cut measurement that they send out. So that's what we're going to go with. I'm going to measure my old ones, see how long they were. They seem to be excessively long, but I'm sure that I know they were not original, and I know that I cut them, and I probably thought, I'm going to cut these longer than they should be so that I had more options, but it created problems. So, but yeah, this was the old hose, and you can kind of see here how there's a flat spot on it, and it basically it just wears this hose out over time. There's some spots where it's soft and it will kink easier or bends easier. This one's not as bad. Depends on how good of a job I do with releasing the pressure on those. I'll show you how it works in a minute here. Let me get a tape measure. Okay, so the old ones, not as long as I thought. They were about 22 inches long, so we'll cut these just a little bit shorter. But essentially, these are the pumps right here, and they're called a peristaltic pump. They're basically a squeeze pump, like what you would have on some of the old planter fertilizer systems. But there's a roller in here, and it's got bearings on it, and it just squeezes that pump, and it pushes the fluid through as it does that. This kind of latches it down and tightens that hose in there. The problem is if you don't loosen those, it wears the hose out and you get those kinks and soft spots, and that affects the flow rates and everything. And on a planter fertilizer thing, so what? It doesn't matter if you're off by a tiny amount. With seed treatment, where we have to be very, very specific in how much treatment we're putting on, those little variations can make a big, big difference. So I replace these hoses every year, try and keep them in good shape, and as best I can try and open these up when it's going to be a day or two before we start treating again, and not just leave them closed all the time, because that keeps the hoses in better shape. So anyway, we're going to start getting this stuff all put back together here. Well, that one's back together. That feels plenty long too, but it gives you some advantage because you can kind of pull it and hit different spots. I may have made that hose too short. I don't know. That one's easily replaceable. We've got plenty here. So I'm going to do the other side, see how that one looks and how I feel about it, and then we'll decide. We might be replacing that short, clear one there. There are a couple of grease zerks on here. There's one inside this atomizer on a bearing down there. I got that one. There is one on the bottom of the auger. I got that one. And there is one at the top of the auger. We got to take a shield off to get to that. So Gonna go ahead and do that. I've got all the tubing on. I need a couple of zip ties just to hold these long ones that go back to the mixing valve together and out of the way there. And then other than that, we're about done here. Oh yeah, okay, so the bearing and grease zerk are not under that cover. They're behind it, down in there. But taking the cover off, I got to inspect the belt, look at it, make sure it's tight and tensioned correctly, and all looks fine. But we still got to grease it. I think I am done here. Everything is greased, cleaned up as best I can. That red stuff is really nasty and stains everything, but it's better. We got this cleaned up and sprayed down with some graphite. New hoses. Clamps are all tight on everything. Oh, I wanted to put a hose. I'm going to put a hose on the bottom of that. There never had one on there, but there is a hose barb. It's just a drain for that static mixer, but when you drain it, it makes a mess there. So I'm going to put a little hose on that to be able to direct it into a pitcher or something to catch it a little bit better. I need another hose clamp. And then that's done, can go back down to the seed warehouse. There, and we can tuck it in there so the end is up like that and it'll catch anything, and then we can just pull it out below into a pan or whatever if we need to drain it. Cool. Oh, it is super nice out here today. It was supposed to be warmer yesterday than today, but it feels better today. I don't know. I'm going to go down and get my other truck from the seed warehouse so we can get that seed treater out of the shop, take it back down there. And then I think we'll work on the planter for a little bit. I've got some meetings and stuff this afternoon, so yeah, we're not going to get a ton done today, but it is what it is. This is why fork adjusters are so nice. I went from that little pallet to this that's got a very specific spot where these have to be, and they're wider. This beeping is getting annoying. I might have to call them about that. The only thing we can figure out is the fuel light is on, but it's full. It's like it got too full, and so it's beeping at us. I don't like it. I know I should be working on that planter, but I think maybe I'll work on my lights down in the seed warehouse here until I gotta go. That would, yeah, that needs to get done before I start treating. Hopefully next week, maybe even later this week. So maybe we should work on that. I don't need the planter until later. So we are melting all the snow off, and it's causing some, not really flooding, but just some ponding of some water. You know, we've got some pockets. The driveways are sloppy. The yards are wet. I think the ground is still frozen underneath. It's making it hard for that water to soak in. But it's got to happen at some point. Better now, the last week of February, than in 3 weeks when I want to be planting soybeans. I don't know if we're going to get any March beans planted this year or not. I certainly will and would like to if that opportunity presents itself, but that's dictated by the weather, not by my desire. We'll plant beans in March. In fact, that's why the corn planter's in the shop right now, because I want to use that. I want to do some 30-inch row March beans and see how that works. But it's totally weather dependent. Last year we were able to do it. We had one day. The 2 years previous, I never got a chance. So who knows? Well, we'll get started with our electrical stuff here. We got to run conduit in boxes, just like we did on the bottom there. It's kind of easier here because I don't have to measure. I just match the bottom. Anyway, I got to go get a cutoff wheel to cut this conduit. I forgot to bring that, so I'm going to go do that. I got the first 2 boxes up. I got this one. Look at that. Even got her nice and bent around the truss there. Break out my pipe bending skills. I don't have any pipe bending skills. That was a joke. Anyway, we're going to try and get 4 of these lights up here today before we got to go. I got about an hour and a half. Think I can get it done? I should be able to. I have all of the conduit that I can do for now up, except for getting around the corner there. I don't have any wires stretched yet, and I don't have the clamps tight. I've got them all together, but I got to get a wrench and tighten them, and then we can stretch some wire through some stuff, get some plugs installed. All right, well, I got the hooks on 2 of them, got most of the clamps tightened up. We got wires through 2 of the 3 runs. I reused the wires that we had taken down from the old lights, but they stretched farther in between them than what I'm doing now, so we're gonna have to cut them off a little bit, but that's okay. We're using up some of the wire. I gotta go though. We gotta get to my meeting, so not gonna get them up and finished It's all right. It won't take a whole lot longer to get them finished. We just got to finish wiring up the plugs and hang the lights and then connect the wires that are hanging down the barn side over there to that first plug and figure out how we're going to do that. I don't really want to bury conduit in the walls either. And I'm not finishing the walls at the moment, but once the ceiling's done, that's the next step. So running new conduit inside the walls is not a great idea, but I already have conduit up to that spot, so we should probably just figure out how to make those two pieces connect. But we also have to tie in the bottom run, and I haven't figured out how to do that yet either. I might be back later this afternoon to keep working on some stuff, either lights or the planter. But I don't really know. I don't know how long I'm going to be gone. So we'll probably see you later. We'll at least wrap it up later. Ah, look. Part of my adventures was haircut today. So anyway, it is after 5 and we aren't going to get anything else done today. So sorry, this one's probably not the best. We should have a bigger day tomorrow. I'm going to try and get those lights finished up, and we're going to try and get that other wing done on the planter. I don't have my conceal knives, so can't finish those. I can get a couple of them, but I'm still waiting on those. But we can get the gauge wheels adjusted, get the row units put back on there, and then we're going to hook the tractor back up and get this side lifted up so we can start working on this one, I think, or we'll do the ones in the back. I don't know. We're going to keep working on our planner, put a little more focus on that. I think Brock's coming tomorrow, but I'm not 100% sure. So anyway, thanks for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Head on over to Farm Focus, grab yourself some Borderview Farms merch. If you need any of that, would very much appreciate it. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.